It's been a very, very, very long time since we have spoken about the top prospect in the Vancouver Canucks system, Vasily Podkolzin. Now, this is going to be fun because Podkolzin has been in a weird position where the previous few videos we made about him were quite negative, and not negative because he's bad or anything like that. I don't want to say that at all, but mostly because Podkolzin has had a really weird 2020-2021. He's had drama with ice time, with deployment, sent up and down between different leagues and all that, and it's been a big problem throughout the season, seeing the limits, I guess, that were placed on Podkolzin in his game at the KHL level. But this update is a very, very good one, and it's one that I'm actually very happy to bring to you today because we're kicking it off with probably the most optimistic piece of news we could have about Vasily Podkolzin, kind of just cementing down the point that we all just kind of need to hear and absorb at this point in time. It actually comes to us in the form of the Francesco Aquilini Twitter thread, which I'm pretty sure you know what it is. We didn't make a video about this, but we did talk about this on stream the other day for Montreal, Toronto, because we were streaming right when the thread was posted, so I got a first-hand look at what was going on. And, you know, if you saw the stream, you know my opinions about this Francesco Aquilini Twitter thread, but the tweet we're talking about here is the second to last one. Like Besser, Pettersson, and Hughes, Höglander was an excellent draft pick, and it looks like he'll be a great part of our future. Our hockey group also believes Podkolzin will step right into the lineup as well. So, whenever that may be, because Vasily Podkolzin, I believe his KHL rights expire with the World Championship, something like that. There's a correlation there between some international tournament and the KHL eligibility. So, once that is all said and done, if the Vancouver Canucks have remaining games to play, whether they make the playoffs or whatever, who knows if that's even possible at this point, we most likely will see Vasily Podkolzin in a Canuck uniform by the time the 2021 season comes to an end, and that is going to be very, very great. You talk about how Nils Höglander has a work ethic that people absolutely love. The guy loves going out there, putting on pressure, applying some good force onto the puck, and holding onto it too. Podkolzin has the same kind of bulldog mentality, and you could debate it's even to a greater extent. This guy knows how to go out there and absolutely work his behind off every shift, and I think a lot of Canucks fans are going to really appreciate that about his game when he does come over to North America and make his presence known on the team. But talking about Vasily Podkolzin and the updates, what he did after returning to the KHL was actually pretty significant. We spoke about how his production was kind of trailing off because he wasn't being given minutes. There was a game where he only played 3 minutes in the entire game, oddly enough against one of the worst teams in the entire KHL back in October. But he returned back to SKA St. Petersburg in the middle of January, and since then, he's played himself a total of 9 games in his returning stint, and in those 9 games, the guy has combined for 5 points. Now, 5 points in 9 games isn't like all-star caliber, it's not best in the league by far, but what it is a lot better than his previous production. Because now, if you go over to the numbers, Podkolzin is at a total of 11 points in 33 games played. If you take away the 5 points in 9 games, he went from 6 points in 24 games to 11 points in 33. Hey, that's not bad. That's a pretty good improvement. That's kind of what you're getting here when you see Vasily Podkolzin actually being given minutes and proper deployment too. He scored 3 goals in that span. He's been getting on the board. The highlights have been making themselves known on Twitter. But the other part of Podkolzin that's actually been really cool isn't even in the KHL itself. We have ourselves the, I'm gonna butcher this, the Beijer Hockey Games. It's hosted in Malmo, so it's a Swedish tournament, I believe, between Team Czech Republic, Team Finland, Team Russia, and Team Sweden. And Vasily Podkolzin is participating in this tournament as well. If you go over and look at the rosters of the guys that are in here, hey, this is a tournament with a whole bunch of over 20 players. One of the best players in the SHL, Emil Pettersson, you might know this guy. He's the brother of somebody who is kind of unknown in the NHL. He's an older guy, he's the top scorer in the SHL, and he's playing for Team Sweden in this tournament. So that's just one example of one of the many players who are indeed suiting up for their respective clubs, and Vasily Podkolzin actually is coming off of a very good hockey game against the Czech Republic. Now, they played 2 games earlier. They played a game against Sweden, they played a game against Team Finland, but Team Russia recently, against Team Czech Republic, had themselves a 7-4 win, where Podkolzin got himself 1 goal and 2 assists. So he's at 3 points in 3 games played. Obviously, that sounds a lot better than 0 points in 2 games played and then 3 points in 1 game, but still, he is out here. He's actually got an A on his sweater, which is really good to see, because it's a tournament of adults as well, not just the U20 competition. The goal he scored, by the way, was very, very nice. He picked the puck up just inside the blue line, kind of dangled by a few guys, and then slipped it by the goalie too, which was really cool to see. Podkolzin is out here working and scoring goals that goal scorers like to score. Garbage goals that he forces himself because he's got the determination to take the puck wherever it is and drive to the net hard, dangling the pants off of whoever is in front of him. The first assist he got, a goal on Daniel Misiul's go-ahead goal of the game, was a really nice one too. Podkolzin had the puck in the neutral zone, he kind of got chopped at it a little bit, he fell down, and while he was falling down, he was still controlling the puck, protecting it from the forecheckers of the opposition. Then he gets up, sends it over to Misiul, who comes in, he shoots, and he scores. It was a nice primary assist for Podkolzin, where he absolutely just did not give up on the play, and he really forced that one to come out, and you know what? That's the kind of determination you see. You know who else likes to stick-handle the puck when he's taken down on his knees in the offensive zone? Hey, Nils Höglander did that too, several times. I believe it was against, Toronto? Maybe it was Calgary, I forgot. Nils Höglander likes to dangle the puck from his knees. Podkolzin was kind of doing the same thing here on this play in the Bejer Cup. So with 3 points in 3 games played for an undefeated Team Russia so far, Podkolzin has definitely made his presence known. It's almost like the KHL and the Russian hockey system has been opening itself up a lot more to actually giving Podkolzin the right to showcase his talent and the skills that he does possess. Because sure, while we don't expect Podkolzin to come over to the NHL and be an Elias Pettersson where he's scoring a goal every game for the first 10 games of his career and he ends off this season just under a point per game, that's not really what we're expecting out of Podkolzin. What you see out of Nils Höglander with the work effort, the determination, all that stuff, Podkolzin exhibits, except, in my opinion, he does have a very underrated skill set that he probably needs to start honing a little bit more if he wants to remain consistent with that production. He's got a big frame, he's got a solid body, he's got a good fundamental point of balance when he has the puck. It's really tough to knock him off of it. Firstly, because he can just run right over you, and secondly, because he's got good protection and good abilities to play with the puck when it's on his stick too. Podkolzin is just a really nice, hard-nosed hockey player, and that's kind of the mold we're getting here, that Francesco Aquilini himself said that, hey, the Canucks are expecting this guy to come over and contribute as soon as he can. I think Benning also had a comment that he said that was similar to that too, so don't hold me accountable for that. I just believe it was something that he did say. Probably look in the video catalog of this channel. There's probably going to be something about that in Podkolzin earlier, but yeah, he's good, he's been doing well, he's working on the things that made him a great hockey player, and he's producing a lot more points, both at the KHL and in this tournament that he's participating in as well. So, let me know in the comments what you thought about Vasily Podkolzin. What are your thoughts on him coming over to join the team? Also, for a bonus question, I guess, we spoke about the Aquilini thread. What are your thoughts on that? We haven't discussed about that in the video yet, but in the chat of the Montreal-Toronto game that we did the other day, we had a whole bunch of opinions from the Canucks fan base talking about what they felt about this Aquilini Twitter thread. My thoughts? Hey, I'd been seeing a sentiment going around on Twitter that kind of does make the most sense to me, where now that there's no more TSN 1040, it's a lot easier for Aquilini to come out here and make a stance that, for sure, he probably would have known would have been controversial, because now there's no opposing radio station coming out here trying to completely ridicule him for that kind of statement. That's just kind of my own opinion about it. Obviously, that doesn't really answer the question that I'm asking here, but yeah, what do you think about the Aquilini thing? I don't know if I buy it, but you know what? Hey, I'll take parts and pieces of it that I like and try to run with it there, and one of the pieces that I do like is that Podkolzin piece. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought also about Podkolzin as well. Hope you enjoyed this video. So that is Rollers in the 9. Now we're going to be hype streaming for Vancouver, Calgary once again, so tune into the channel at about 6-ish p.m. PST, so I'll see you there, and bye.